Around midnight, 7 days a week, when all is quiet, there's always a shutter up. Behind the scenes, in the wee hours of the night, they keep the hearth burning. A new generation of hawkers who do it because they want to. Can they survive the winds of change that blow into the hawker center? The cooks in the streets who became a national feature. From few to many, they fed the country. Here at the table are their stories, their hearts, their minds, and their food. The past, present, and future hawker culture in the belly of a nation. She has been here for the last couple of hours. An overnight routine which she observes at least 5 days a week. Li Ruifang has become the poster child of young people who bear the mantle of their grandfather's vocation.
I guess that people are just very interested in my story because I'm a female and I'm considered young. So people just want to know why I want to be a hawker.
Even though she is with child, she sticks to the routine. By 6:30, the business opens. She sells Hokkien prawn mee or hae mee.
My grandfather was from China, Fujian, Nan'an. So he actually came to Singapore in the 1940s. And a family friend started to teach him how to sell prawn noodle to make a living. So he started with a pole and basket and started selling along Balestier Road. And then in the 1973, the government decided to build a hawker center. So that's where my grandmother and my father moved there to sell prawn noodle. At that point of time, my grandfather was quite sick, so he stopped selling prawn noodle. So he actually taught my grandmother how to make the broth.
Ruifang's grandmother detracted from the recipe and created a dry version.
Actually, the dry is very popular than the soup version.
The business was handed to Ruifang's father.
I've seen a lot of my favorite hawker stores. They just close down and retire without any successor. That's where I know that I have to continue the legacy.
The original business was sold to her aunties while she came out on her own. Her parents assist her in the business today.
And actually, I've been telling my primary school friend that I want to sell prawn noodle when I grow up, but I actually forgot about this until they told me recently. I graduated from university. I worked in a finance company for 4 years. And then I realized that it's really not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
The stall is at Tekka Food and Wet Market, and it was built before she was born. An area that was once filled with street hawkers.
I didn't get to eat from the street stall because when I was born, I think hawker center was there's already a lot of hawker centers around. So my parents actually always bring me to the hawker center for breakfast during the weekend. Yeah, so I could say that I grew up eating hawker food.
A year after she was born, the government stopped building hawker centers. Old surfaces were torn down, replaced by new ones. The country was in a whirl of change. Staying cool impacted the hawker culture.
There was a time in the 1990s in particular where the thinking was that the younger generation is not going to be interested to eat at hawker centres. They would want to be at the air-conditioned food courts and the fast food joints that had come into Singapore. So the policy was to say, let's forget about building new hawker centres. It was also fueled by a concern that young people would not want to become hawkers and therefore the trade would die a natural death.
Funan was the first and only government hawker center that had air conditioning. Opened in 1985, it housed hawkers from Hock Lam Street. That same year, a food court appeared within a shopping center. The food court in shopping center concept began to take hold. Eating hawker food in colder climates, once a dream, became almost a necessity. At a time when many of us are already dreaming, another second-generation hawker starts his day in a food court within a shopping centre. Abdus Salam is a second-generation Indian Rojak hawker with a stall named after him.
I know that my father is doing F&B but not Indian Rojak. So after I go into my secondary school, so that's when I started to help my father, and that's when I realized that, oh, he's selling Indian Rojak and it's named after me, and that's when I feel so excited and and nice about it. Yeah, I even started to share this news with my friends and my teachers at a point of time. Yeah. They also feel that, you see how much your father and mother love you, you should, take care of them, be nice to them, make sure that you don't disappoint them in any way. They even advised me, if you can, try to expand their business. That's what my teacher told me. Then I replied that, no, I cannot think myself as a chef or being a hawker. I want to be a pilot, or I want to be a doctor or engineer.
The original stall is in Ayer Rajah, which he manages, along with the branch in a shopping centre.
After my research, I feel that you can find Indian Rojak along the shop houses or even hawker centres. That's very common, but not in shopping centre. So that's how the thing sparked my mind, where I should have Indian Rojak in shopping centre.
Indian Rojak consists of fritters which are built with raised batter. Many are ready-made in a central kitchen somewhere. Abdus Salam still makes his from scratch, which is why he's here overnight.
The main attraction for Indian Rojak is all the beautiful colors in there. Just a line just here and there. So it's just going to just turn it like that. So I learned this from my father. So this is the first one that he taught me when he was alive. Indian Rojak, for preparation, it'll take about 7 to 8 hours. That's the minimum. Normally, we start operating 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. So we will come as early as 1 a.m. to prepare the Indian Rojak. We have 19 items.
One fritter that has been around for a long time is that coconut thing.
Some people call it kolakate. Kolakate is actually the common name for coconut fritter. Some people call it tenga flour. Tenga is coconut and mabu is flour.
Not only are we given a name, Abdus Salam shows what goes into it.
There's a few different ingredients we will add in, so I'm going to start the process now. This is actually the solution of the yeast powder and the baking powder. So now I'm going to add in the coconut milk, evaporated milk, grated coconut, crushed peanut to give the extra crunchy element, the hearty texture, the rice flour, sesame seed. So we're going to mix evenly.
After an hour, the batter is deep fried.
I was actually working as an engineer. So my father was not feeling well at a point of time. He was having a mild heart attack. So I decided to take over the business and run it for myself. If not, I feel that my father's hard work will go to waste.
The old stall runs on its own steam, but the new branch still needs a bit of managing, which Abdus Salam does in the early hours, 7 days a week.
I feel that this is actually the accomplishment and of course carrying on my father's legacy, because my father passed away already. So I feel that this is one of the things that I can present my father in return for the amount of hard work that he put in. So I'm very, very happy that my father's hard work is still being showcased to my customers. Yeah.
The shutters are up. People get off on their workday. The frying oil infuses the air. The morning sun starts to tickle. The young man is not amused. He's been at it since 4 in the morning. He bears the weight of a legacy.
I told my father, I don't want to come back again. I just want to go outside and work and see the world.
The stall is so famous that it's made it to a Bib Gourmand list. The dish is Chinese Rojak.
My main concern is that I will try to maintain the taste as close to my father as possible. But definitely I cannot make as good as him. But this is what I'm trying to do. My father, his name is Lim Yat Chiu. He used to be an odd job laborer until the age of about 16 or 17. Then he came across an uncle selling rojak, asked him to man his stall. And then from there, he started to learn. And then that is the time he started to selling rojak.
It's mostly vegetables and fruit, inspired by the Indonesian dish of similar name. The essential part is the prawn paste, called heko, and this is where the mixologist plays.
The main concern is that all the peanut, sugar, prawn paste, chili, the asam water, these main 5 ingredients, the proportional have to be very well maintained. You cannot add a little bit more, less with any one of them. Cucumber, pineapple, and last time they used the kangkong, but now we changed to bean sprout. And then youtiao and tapok is still the same. I cannot get a fruit that is too sweet or too sour. It will spoil the whole thing. I must get something like a bit plain, a bit juicy and crunchy. And then quite recently, about 10 years ago, we started to use jellyfish rather than we use squid. Because my father was thinking that he wants something to be more crunchy and more tasteful. Because we find that if you keep on using the same ingredient, people might get bored about that.
In street hawking days, Rojak moved around the island on the back of bicycles, often seen at night when street operas were tentpole productions. And they still hung around when cinemas took over the night entertainment scene. The stall is named after a cinema.
During that Hoover was actually it's a very scared place because my father and this group of hawker was stationed at the roadside. And the worst part was that all the people there was afraid of raining. Because if it rain, the drain will flood. And there will be no people who will come and patronize the store. I remember my father was so happy when he came here because rain or shine, there's always a shelter. And then there's the water was clean and there's a toilet. That was the happiest. I remember that was his happiest time.
Unhappy is this son who maintains his father's good reputation.
I don't understand how come my father can do it from morning 8 o'clock until at night 10 o'clock and for so many years. When I work for my father, I find that his work is very tedious. Actually, the main concern is still my health because my feet is hurting me a lot every day. I don't know whether my body can take it or not because it's really too tiring already. He was diagnosed with a terminal illness. So he asked me to, he told me that at this stage, I really have to man the store because no one else. And I find that I really have to help him at this time. I try not to be too emotional, see what I can do. But it seemed to be was stuck here. During the old days, people like to eat the rojak with the raw taste. Like for example, more heavier prawn paste and lesser sugar. But nowadays, youngsters, they want a special taste bud. So my concern now is that try to maintain the main ingredient, the main sauce. If I can manage to get in some fruits that is suitable for my rojak, for example, jambu, I will just add in kimchi. Not a bad song. Last time, rojak don't sell in the morning. They sell at afternoon and at night. But I decided to sell in the morning is because nowadays people concern is health. So I find that rojak is a lot of vegetable inside. People might treat it as a salad. So I find that after selling at this time, people will accept it. Then this is why I find that I will continue.
Keeping hawker food alive past the first generation calls for a lot of sacrifices. Some do, and some don't. Within some of the older hawker centers, drama unfolds.
Do you want me to take over? They say no.
By the 1990s, hawker centers everywhere were getting the upgrades. Some just torn away, some made over several times. This little hawker center in a posh part of town has been done over 4 times. Built in the 70s to house street hawkers in the area, some of whose descendants still work here.
To me, it's If you to see a third generation in a hawker center, it's very rare. My name is Sumadi bin Sapari. I'm the owner of Warung Pak Sapari, and I'm selling mee rebus Misoto. In 1973, my grandfather was the first owner of the Admiral Hawker Center, that is store number 9.
The heart of Misoto is the chicken stock infused with rempah or spice paste. Hokkien noodles is the mee behind the soto. Chicken that was boiled in the stock is shredded, topped sometimes with the bergedil, a potato croquette. Misoto came to Singapore via Javanese immigrants. Sumadi's grandfather sold it in the streets and later passed the business on to Sumadi's parents.
It started from my grandfather. He started here when was a kind of a muddy area here, and he used to carry all the food using the old type of satay type. And this place along this area was kind of muddy because it always flooded. My mother stopped from her work as a cashier. My father also stopped his work, and both of them no job. So my grandfather invited them in 1980s like that to work with him. So when started rebus Misoto, my father started to think, what can I do more with these two gravy that I have? There was a lot of soto in Indonesia, but in the end, my father said, why don't we make our own? Why don't we make it a difference? My father decided to tweak a bit of the soup, and we want to make it our own. My father started to put in the gizzard, okay, parts of the chicken, and we also use chicken feet, all this, to accommodate whatever we are selling now. At 2013, both of them started to get unwell. So my mother got cancer, my father had cancer, and I was still working. In 2011, I told them, do you want me to take over? They say, no. Before this, I was doing engineering. So from there, I was thinking, from my grandfather to my father, it's a waste. So my father said, do you have the money? Do you have the will? Do you have the passion to do? And he gave me this lesson. Whatever I teach you, you follow. Whatever I buy, you buy the same thing. My father's hand and my hand is a bit different. His tongue and my tongue is a bit different. Although we have the same ingredient, same concoction, but the thing is that nobody is perfect. And I start to get awards that shocked me, you know. In a sense, surprised me. Hey, I can do it, you know. To me, is that you cannot just depend on business to customer. You must expand somewhere. Because I want to keep my heritage of my food, I did a paste. And I now start to sell it to distributor, and I also sell it to some caterers. During my forefather time, it's always about survival. Come to my father time, he only think of family. When I took over, yes, I did think of family, but I also must think of my future.
The first generation were street hawkers who moved to permanent centers. They were given subsidized rentals. Mr. and Mrs. Chua, first-generation hawkers, still pay subsidized rent. Their children will not be carrying on the business for them. They make Popia. Eaten fresh, the stuff is in the stuffing. Popia, an import from Fujian province in China, is filled with vegetables, mainly bangguang or sengguang or local turnip. This has to be braised for a long time, beginning with pork lard.
那个油滚了，你虾米放下去，给它炸一下，放一点酱油下去，给它黑了，可以了。那个菜可以放下去哦。冬天我在马路跟人家学的啦，看人家这样做，这样学了。
一刀半斩闯江湖了，闯到现在了。啊，我们一路来这样多年就是这样做法啦，没有改变啦。
Their recipe hasn't changed in the last 40 years, except for one ingredient.
红脚虾，小的，
没有了啦，现在
它
没有了。
的壳很硬的。
阿菜没有得买了。
没有啦，它还没有，它就消失了，就绝种了。我们这个最重要的啦，普遍这个最重要的啦，鸡蛋做的，鸡蛋和粉做的，一路来就是这叫做普遍的秘诀。
Just as essential to Popia is the skin, which the couple doesn't make.
我们没有办法做到这个皮，做到那个皮已经完蛋了了。
By 12, all the elements are ready for assembly to be made on order. For more than 12,000 days, it's the same routine for them, almost without stopping.
我们不要做就完了，因为我们淘汰，我要淘汰了，老了好像不能做了。
The area where they work is full of kopitiams, an establishment known for serving eggs and toast and hot drinks. The kopitiam has evolved from its heyday in the 70s. It is where hawker food culture is preserved on a smaller scale.
The coffee shop used to hold a collection of hawkers. They were better in the sense that they didn't peddle, so they had water supply. And you straight away know that this was the creme de la creme, because the coffee shop owner wasn't going to have someone that didn't sell, that wasn't popular or wasn't good. And I remember we had to queue up at Hock Lam Street all the time for food. But that was where the best beef kway teow was, or the beef bowl soup. They started to sell there. It was really grimy ceilings and wirings and whatnot, and all this entangled wires, trailing along. But we never saw it, or rather, I never saw it. There were spittoons on the floor. It brings back memories of the past.
Before, the small one, now everything kopitiam, all big. Hawker center like that.
Haj Mohammed and Sons run a stall in a coffee shop.
My name, Haj Mohammed.
Al Malik Faisal, I'm 37 years old. My name is Mohammed Ifar. I'm 33 this year.
They sell roti prata.
"22 years I doing here.
Haj Mohammed's father came to Singapore in the 50s and sold prata in a coffee shop.
Stall berjalan besar, the corner. No pushcart inside kopitiam. Maybe inside got 2 stall only. One coffee, one prata, rice, everything, 2 only. We have a license. My father got a license, but I think it's $6 only. I come 1960. I study Singapore 5 years, 6 years only. Then after I joined father doing business. Then we moved Race Course Road. Until 73, I moved Culinary Road Junction. Then you moving here, swimming 1903. Then 1903 I was doing until now I doing now.
Then after he passed on to my father, then my father passed on to my brother, then brother and me. Yeah, so we carrying on that skill.
Like a family, roti prata dough needs time to develop. And this family still does it from scratch.
I do have customers walking in, they ask me, is there your dough from the factory or ready-made dough? They don't know it's homemade, we make ourselves. If you look at our Indian thing, it's like, once your parents started or something, it's like family business, so it's natural for the kids. You just have to take over. It's no written rules.
My elder son is doing, help me for 20 years like that.
So my brother already has set his mindset since young, like, okay, when I finish everything, I will join my dad business. Because I'm the last one, so they give me a so-called privilege, a choice to whether you can go work outside. And basically, I can do whatever I want. So there's no pressure. After NS, went to did my further study in engineering. After I did my engineering, I went to work for 3 years as a mechanical engineer. Then after that, that's why I decided to join my father.
Prata is leavened dough. A skilled hand can turn an elastic ball into a flaky, crispy disc.
You're pressing it, you're flipping it, that kind of thing. So we have to master that kind of skill. That's for doing the prata.
He wants everything to be perfect. So any simple mistake also he point out to make it correct everything. I think he was very fierce. So after this, he's become normal.
Originating from Madras, roti prata means flat, round bread served with curry. And that's where we detract from the state of origin.
Okay, I do have an Indian customer. From India, we have Indian tourists. So once they try our food, especially the curry, they will like give one kind of space expression. Then I was told, and here it's different. It's not India. This is Singapore. We have different people living in here. We have Malay, Chinese, Eurasian hall, so we have to suit to their taste buds. So here we do some bit of modification.
In Singapore, the prata has made some curious modifications.
Now generation thinking is different from those days, so they want something different, fusions.
The business is well known for its coin prata, which is simple prata dough, stretched out and spiraled.
Okay, the current trend we're selling is the coin prata. It's pretty famous right now. For that, I will go for like cheese, like chocolate, different flavor, different fusion into it. But when my father sees that when I'm doing it, you have a lot of time to do this, is it?
Prata is eaten throughout the day, and that keeps the boys on their feet for at least 12 hours every day until their days off in a fortnight's time.
I'm in engineering, I have my own cubicles. I sitting down in the aircon room. I have break time, I got lunch break, I can go off at 6 o'clock. Once I became a hawker, first thing you have to sacrifice personal time, your family time. These two, I would say, is quite important to me, but yeah, I'm ready to sacrifice. Yeah, I am sacrificing it now.
My son, he helped for me. Then I do it now, supervisor like that. See, then I go. I am not free now. Free man.
Second and third generation hawkers continue the business because they feel they have to. But there's another generation born and plunge into it because they want to. In the final dozen years of the 20th century, these people were born. They call themselves three good guys. With no experience in the food business, they've survived the first 5 months, riding on the back of the trendy dish Mala Xiang Guo and their version with salted egg. And the experiment goes on.
We always believe that, especially for Singaporeans, they actually love food a lot. So we actually want to do something that is actually relatable to what we are doing now. So we will actually be trying out Mala spring chicken. And at the same time, we will also be coming with Mala beef cube on our own. More numb. Yeah. Maybe can be a bit more like a bit chao like that.
The temperature for the beef cube, I think, cools down very fast.
Because if you ask me the taste, I think it's still okay. I think we can serve with hot plate. Yeah.
They are now called Hawkreneurs. Their neighbours downstairs in the Golden Mile Centre have similar ambitions of growing big and are getting there. Having worked in the fine dining cafe scene, they sailed through 4 years selling burgers. They have 2 branches, with another on the way. Lee Shafiq goes behind the scenes to check on the second branch in Chai Chee.
So how's the prep for tomorrow? The prep for tomorrow, yeah.
In Godama, we can't train our staff here because it's always packed with people. The space is very small. At Chai Chee, we actually do it as a mini central kitchen to actually supply some of the sauces and the products to Godama. Because the Godama, we are actually producing a lot of burgers. So we need, more stocks in hand. So that's where Chai Chee come in.
Unlike the older generation, whose livelihood rests upon a single stall, Hawkreneurs hope to expand from this humble setting.
Hawkers can be a stepping stone.
It is actually more or less our growing ground.
In future, we could become a fast food chain.
That will be our main idea, objective.
We can tell back the story that, where it all started, hawker centers,
It's a break for the hawkers at the Golden Mile Centre. The usual spring cleaning. Over the years, hawker centres have been upgraded in tandem with the country. The building of hawker centres began again after a 26-year hiatus. Despite the change in food trends, more than 60% of Singaporeans still eat one of their daily 3 meals at a hawker centre. People still need local, affordable meals in the 21st century. Many of the dishes are cuisines of the streets, but not all made it through. Many disappeared as hawkers moved from outside to within. Cheaper food like sweets and desserts became untenable in a hawker centre, what with rent to pay.
因為 hawker centre 就係標嘛，但人買雜菜飯，人行大了，你行自己腦幹呢，淡薄行，人行大了，你就咪講競爭。
Mr. Teo's artisanal skills were rescued by a fan who persuaded a food court owner to lower the rent. A privilege accorded to one of the very few remaining who makes muah chee from scratch. Muah chee is glutinous rice flour, milled, doughed and steamed, dipped in shallot oil and rolled in ground peanuts or black sesame.
其實muah chee係啲醬整最行嘅啦，等人做啲內行就夠了咯。
Originating from China, muah chee is festive food, capturing the Chinese love of puns.
muah chee 係一枝摸摸嘅意思咯，呢個意思叫得又好聽啦，那muah chee食了有枝，唔是叫人安尼打安尼攰，放尾波路啊是而家就會識做，或者是人整豆興嚟，人有病就先做我冇病。
Mr. Teo's father sold muah chee in an era when milestones marked out the districts. People were poor. Muah chee was a treat.
古早50幾年代是用打嘅咯，放個路邊攤嘅地方落背哦，做咯嗬，食muah chee個配底，伊唔係我做嘅，但人對啲muah chee有感情嘛，但我爸手頭嗰種60幾年哦，接受安尼久了，但舊時若真係無邊做，咱會聲有行無邊做，咱就放佢去咯，我無人接受嘅嘛。
Alongside Mr. Teo is his wife, who has been his helper all these years. But the line stops here.
其實只是18點鐘、17點鐘嚟，略嘴講會較久，係人啊，古早人哋徛沙丁厝啊，人白食苦嘅，啊當然升一代嘅人就會較拜六禮拜去剃頭嘅，啊了人自己嘅一日365日，落做土了了，啊對。人講係流狗棒嘅啦。
It's a sad fact, but true, that most of the people feeding us hawker food are middle-aged or older. Telltale signs predict an uncertain future. Will a new generation fill these empty spaces?
I'm Erica. I'm 27 this year, today actually. I like desserts. I have a sweet tooth. I graduated for about 2015. Then I started a cleaning assistant job for about 3 months. I wanted to be a F&B entrepreneur, and I chanced upon this entrepreneurship program by Fei Xiong. So that was like how I went in, like do this hawker trade.
The entrepreneurship program pairs aspirants with experienced hawkers. It's the idea of a former fishball noodle seller who learned much from his own uncle.
20歲出嚟，我係阿姑就找一個位幫我去做，所以是我嘅 mentor 啦，就給我一個機會，給我一個 platform 來做自己做生意啦。
Fei Xiong is now an F&B enterprise, focusing on hawker heritage food. It's an attempt at preserving the tradition.
我阿姑有真多學嘅朋友，所以真多上一擺伊嘅朋友咧，有間係退休了、老了，所以我就叫伊我阿姑去間人找人做啦，啊，會使將伊嘅 recipe 加幫我無，所以因人 agree 啦。
So basically, Fei Xiong, they have mentors for us. Like, well, they gave us the manpower, they help us to hire people. So there's like a mentorship program. Slowly, like after 3 months, we are on our own.
It's been 4 years since. Erical and a handful of enterprised hawkers trade alongside more established hawkers in this new centre. Ciyuan is set in a community centre and was the first to be built when the government rebooted the hawker centre building program. It is, however, managed privately by Feixiong. 40 stalls in all and no repeats.
Because over here we have the restriction of like one type of food only can one store, which means we don't have competitors.
Stall holders also don't wash their own dishes. They pay for a washing facility.
To me, it is considered very acceptable. And currently, the government is actually helping us with subsidize the 50% of our dishwashing. So that actually give a great help.
And there's inspection.
Hello， 我是北雄公司的卫生检查官，我要帮你做一个卫生检查。
Because I just entered this trade with a very open mind, so I just absorb everything. It is very difficult, but to me, tomorrow will be a new day.
OK， 跟你解释一下今天的检查过程中。
So everything will be new. It's okay and no doubts. Whatever difficulties I face, tomorrow will be okay.
The hawker centre is an open environment, but to operate in one, there are barriers. Costs of equipment and rentals being one of many bugbears. The NEA has an incubation program where newcomers are given some assistance for a limited time frame. Michelle Yi is an incubee. And just when her business got started, the centre she was in closed down for 3 months of upgrading. Chinatown, a place where hawkers congregated en masse 60 to 80 years ago. It's still a colourful gathering of vendors, old and new. The food style is predominantly Chinese. Into this potpourri of flavours is something new, but traditional. Thunder tea rice, a Hakka special occasions dish. It's a rice dish topped with a range of finely chopped ingredients, herbs, peanuts, dried prawns. You can't hear it, but the thunder part comes from when they used to pound tea leaves for the soup. In Hakka, it's called ham cha. Some call it lei cha. In Chinatown, it's served by an incubee.
因为我的先生就是一个擂茶的 fans， 我的家婆就很细心的教了我们，然后我们一直练习，到最后就去 apply NEA 的 incubation store program。我姓于，叫我丽，我先生是姓郭，然后他叫金良。
In a previous life, Michelle was an office manager and husband Alan worked in IT. They gave up their cushy comforts for this crushing routine as hawkers and to spend more time together.
每个人一天都要吃至少2餐3餐。应该饮食业在新加坡不会那么容易失败吧？我不知道，这是我当初的想法。结果给我看到这个 NEA Incubation Store Program， 在租金方面，他们就已经可以提供我们58% 的 subsidize， 然后他又帮我们去提供那些设备。
The Incubation Stall Program is a sign of the times. Things aren't cheap.
说是小本生意，其实你一开始投入的成本其实也并不小。
One of the barriers for newcomers is the cost of rental.
Rental is one thing because a lot of people thought that the location is good and they want to get the store. That's why they tender it like 4,000, 5,000, but it's not sustainable. It's really very difficult to survive in this rate.
Rui Feng has a stall in Tekka Market where she sells Hokkien noodles.
It's actually quite difficult because Little India, so a lot of tourists actually come here for the Indian food. So the Chinese food are actually a small minority. I really like this place because it's very spacious and it's just facing the main road and it's near MRT station. So I did some research and I decided to tender for 1,008 and I actually won by $12. They should actually have a cap, like there's a system that allows young hawkers to tender the store at a lower rate.
So we started our bid with a very low value. Then of course we lost, So we actually start to increase our value as time goes to see are we able to win. So with total, we actually bid for 5 times. We lost quite a few times.
Today, they are at it again.
We're actually looking at more outlets from NEA, that is actually out for bidding. Currently for this month, location is actually not a lot that is actually out, in the market for now.
Table cleaning fee. Because over here it costs about $700, so we don't want to move into the next outlet and then have to bear the same amount of high costing as well. So
because ultimately I think the accessibility is also very important.
Wait, I saw something. 11 Tolobaranga Crescent. Don't know, Safra Mount Faber. Check whether there's any mala store there.
Admin fee is 201. So I'm assuming the clean fee is 300. It's about 500 or so, roughly about that.
Price is about like that.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah, long.
Okay.
Okay, show you a bit.
Okay, sure.
The food that we eat at hawker centres today are primarily cooked only by Singaporeans or permanent residents. That's the rule since 2014, but it's a bottleneck.
One thing that worries me a lot are like manpower issue because there's so many stores that close down because of this problem.
I got not enough helper. I got not enough space.
I think key issue is the manpower.
And cannot expect family or relative to help you.
Precisely that. Often working behind the scenes are close relations, spouses, family, kith and kin. Younger hawkers pull in new forms of social networking to expand their business.
How we actually sustain, in the long run is through social media.
Now I feel that we are more gifted because everything is just with the click of the phone, or it's just by the click you can just spread the news to the entire world.
If let's say we talk about customers coming to dine in and they take a picture, automatically people would know that, oh, these burgers are from Burgs because of the signature B at top.
And then to reach out to people, to allow them to understand what we are actually doing. When we actually meet up with this investor, we actually learn quite a lot of things, like how manpower is needed, how much potential income that you can actually make in an outlet. Initially, we thought that we can handle, but I think if we were to handle, it will really drain us off. But with this kind of things happening, I think it's a good experience for us as well.
It's almost the end of another trading day. The music begins. For the last 2 years, this group has been meeting without fail at the Golden Mile Food Centre.
Every Saturday, they're actually having this, old folks, they're actually having this group. So they are actually having this sing-along session. So, and it's a very good harmony community over there.
A place to meet, a place to feed. The hawker centre has a place in Singapore. But what fears do hawkers have of the future?
As long as the three of us are there, our minds are strong on this business. Nothing can be feared. We are not fear of anything.
We started off as a 3-man team. Right now we are 12. Without those new people in the team, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So if you tell me what's my biggest fear is actually losing the team I have right now.
Future of a hawker centre, I would say it's going to be...
Actually, I'm thinking of expanding.
Future generation, will they be able to handle the stress and to outshine from the rest so that they can sustain in this F&B line?
I believe in work-life balance, so it's only this year I started to close on weekends so that I get to spend more time with my family.
So when it comes to 4th generation, I don't know whether my children want to take over.
The important part is that people can accept my Rojak. And I find that probably I might have to continue a while until I really cannot do.
depend on you yourself how you want to create.
If you actually happen to go to those kind of like very chill places, where they actually have live band, over a bottle of beer, and some finger food and stuff, if let's say this culture is actually able to be brought in, the hawker culture, I believe it's going to be a very happening place. And we are actually looking at, hawker to be like this in the next 10 to 20 years. I think it's going to be very interesting.
They've shared their stories with us, their trials, fears, hopes, and aspirations. They are few of many, many others, leading individual lives, but linked through a common vocation and a love of food. They became a culture and built a sense of belonging in the belly of a nation.